All right, so I'm over on Pink Bike here. First comment, Mathieu slammed her pole. And then the next one says,
yeah, dude.
Mathieu Vanderplow.
Yes.
Dude, that's got to be the title of this show, Mathieu slammed her pole.
That's the first comment?
First comment.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's got 139 up arrows. What up, party people? Welcome back to another jam-packed episode of the Bonk Bros podcast, where we've got all kinds of topics and things to sort through this week, like Quinn Simmons taking the Stars and Stripes jersey at the Pro Nats this past weekend, while our boy Scotty McGee narrowly missed out on his own title. Chris Blevins is absolutely dominating the World Cup scene right now, taking 2 dubs at the latest round over at Nova Mesto, while Mathieu Vanderpoel, or should I say Slamderpoel, suffered some technical mishaps of his own at his latest mountain bike debut. Then we get into some Unbound preview with a special guest appearance. Oh yeah, and DJ is back to give us the scoop on what went down last week with his accident and also give us some updates on his recovery journey. Speaking of recovery from accidents, this week's show is brought to you by one of our newest partners, Scarborough Bicycle Accident Law. That's right, the timing couldn't be more serendipitous given things that just went down with DJ. But fortunately, there are people out there like the folks over at Bicycle Accident Law who are there with you on every ride and are willing to work hard to fight for you to get the results that you are deserving should you fall victim to such an accident. To learn more, you can head over to bicycleaccidentlaw.com and make sure to add their contact info to your phone just in case you need them while you're on the road. If you have any questions or feedback for the show, you can drop us on at bonkbrospodcast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Instagram. If you want to get the inside access to things like early episode releases and special bonus episodes like DJ and Tyler just recorded on the Giro updates, you can head over to Patreon and support us there as well. All right, let's get this party started. Yeah, I'll be honest, I actually forgot that it was Unbound week. I think since like DJ's out, I was just like, whatever, Unbound's not even a thing anymore.
Okay. Thanks, bud. I trained just as much as Dylan for this race, but for some reason, when you guys talked about my training, the word that you used was like Drew's wonky training.
Yeah, but
I did everything that Dylan did.
No, but the thing is,
for some reason, mine's wonky.
Though. You didn't, though. You didn't train as much as I did.
Ooh, shots
annual
fired.
Hours? I have 20 more hours than you. From
but how about we talk about your Unbound block? How about we talk about how many hours you did?
You got 5 more hours than me, dude.
That's like a whole week's worth of training.
I mean, the only thing that I was referring to when I said wonky was you wearing warmers on a 90-degree day. Like, that's pretty wonky.
That's straight out of Dylan's book, dude. He didn't turn his AC on for a whole year to train for Unbound.
I know. And that's wonky.
So when Dylan does
right?
it,
that's
cool.
out of the norm.
When Dylan does it, it's cool. When Drew does it, it's wonky.
True. Yes.
Wonky's not bad. Wonky's not bad. That's what you need.
You're the one giving wonky a negative connotation.
You're right. Yeah, I do. I'll take wonky all day. There are worse things to be called.
Honestly, I think in order for either of you guys, and you probably both know this, to like have any chance of one-upping the competition at Unbound, you have to do something wonky. If you just go by the books,
to do everything,
it's not going to work, right?
Drew, we could have called you an idiot. We didn't even do that.
That would be like on brand as well.
Yeah, for real.
I felt like an idiot doing it.
Well, so since we have none other than DJ, aka Gimpy Cyclist over there, why don't you give us? We've only kind of we've talked to you outside of the podcast, I guess, but our listeners have not heard directly from you about what happened and kind of where things are at.
This is the first public.
You've probably done a dozen other podcasts between then and now.
Yeah, I know. You're probably more famous now, injured, than you were uninjured.
Yeah. So I do my entire Unbound block, which honestly was mostly on the road. I did some gravel rides, but it was mostly road riding, 100+ hours of riding. And then I get hit during my recovery week when I'm riding like 10 hours, just statistically speaking.
Do you think if you weren't on a recovery week, you would have been traveling at a faster velocity and that car would not have hit you?
Yeah, probably. Somebody commented that if I was just like 2 watts more aero, the car would have missed me.
Yeah, probably. So what happened though? Are you able to talk about it, or is it?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I mean, I've given the story on Instagram, and I gave the story on another podcast, so I think I can talk about it. I mean, I was just riding down a not very busy 2-lane road here in Brevard, and there was like a gravel driveway where this work truck was chilling. And then for some reason, like right as I'm passing, that's when the work truck decides to go, and it hits me right in my right knee. So like the bumper of the work truck just slammed my knee.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And obviously I fall off my bike and I'm rolling around on the ground in pain. And then, I go to the hospital. And
are you in the middle of the road rolling around?
Yeah, I'm in the middle of the road. It's not great.
Did that truck at least stick around to like help you up or anything, or block the road?
Truck did stick around. Yeah. Which was good. Truck stuck around. So we go to the hospital.
How'd you get to the hospital? Did they call an ambulance, or did he drive you?
I actually drove myself to the hospital, which isn't good, but.
How did you get to your car?
Well, I got driven back to my house because I couldn't ride my bike, and my bike was like all messed up, but yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I probably should have taken an ambulance to the hospital now that I think about it, but it's okay.
Man, you're so tough. Wow. Drove yourself with a broken knee to the hospital. Wow.
I mean,
tough
it's
guy.
A cool story to tell your grandkids, at least.
Yeah.
I guess.
You don't have to pay for the ambulance bill.
Yeah. So anyway, my tibia is fractured, and actually my fibula has a small fracture in it too. But fortunately my ligaments are okay, which is good because that would have made the recovery time way longer. But I don't know, as of right now, like for some reason, I don't know, I thought it'd be like 4 to 6 weeks or something, which isn't terrible, but it's going to be longer than 4 to 6 weeks. I told the doctor, I was like, my next big race is Leadville, which is mid-August, which at the time of the accident is nearly like 3 months away. And he was like, yeah, I mean, you might be able to participate, but you're not going to be in good shape for it. So, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, people heal at all different speeds, right? So
yeah,
it's like,
dude, you know what'll whip you into shape?
What? Ketones?
That Crested Butte training camp.
Oh, wow.
And ketones. We'll have plenty of ketones there too, but
right.
Yeah, man, that's such a bummer.
SILCA and Bike Tires Direct.
Yeah.
And that probably means you could come to Dust Bowl. I'll whoop up on you there.
When is Dust Bowl?
The end of July.
If I'm even like riding a bike by then, we'll see.
You know what else it means? It means that your season can be extended to November.
Iceman, baby.
Yeah.
That's
I actually thought about starting the story with the good news. I
are ready to have fun.
I will be doing Iceman this year.
Wow.
I'm saying it right now.
Hey, let's just go one more week. Let's go to Mexico together too.
No.
Come on.
No.
Let's run away together.
I don't want to do that race.
What about Hawaii?
No Hawaii, no Mexico, but I am
Michigan?
I am doing Iceman this year. So everybody from Michigan who's listening right now, just cream their pants a little bit. I know.
Drop bars? They're all going to get stoked that you're doing it, and they're all going to get pissed that you're going to do it with drop bars.
Yeah, well, we know Alexi's going to get pissed that I'm doing it with drop bars, but you know, what else is new?
He's the Michigan gravel cyclist of the world.
Nice. How are you? How are the spirits?
Yeah, they're okay. I mean,
are you still like lamenting, or are you kind of accepted and moving on? And
yeah, I mean, I guess I accepted it at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I thought about going to Unbound, but I'm going to be honest. Like, I it's like hard to move around my house. And I like, if I don't have my leg elevated for more than an hour, it starts like throbbing. And, I don't know. I feel like I'm like losing circulation in my foot, and I feel like traveling there would be a pain. So I think I'm just going to stay here.
I contemplated driving down there to pick you up, but it's the wrong way. It would have like added 2 days of travel to just go pick you up. I was like,
right. And we all know that if the situation was reversed, I wouldn't even drive 30 minutes out of the way to pick you up. So.
No chance.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't even like get off the highway if it was like.
And we're pretty good friends now, but if we spent 25 hours in a car together, I don't know how that would end. We might not be such good friends.
I don't know. I feel like you're less of a dick when you're not being recorded for some reason, which is unlike everybody else in the world.
Yeah. Which is the opposite of Scott. He's
yeah, honestly, it is the opposite of Scott. Like, I wish Scott would let loose. Like, you think Scott's funny. I've said this so many times, but if you think Scott is like unhinged on the podcast right now, you should hear him when he's not being recorded. He actually has a filter.
Speaking of Scott, do we want to jump over to talking about road nets?
Yeah, he kind of sucked, didn't he?
Gosh, I had to scroll to like the bottom of the top 20 to find it.
Yeah. I mean, when you like he said so last week on the podcast of like, he probably had the best ride of his life at that race last year. It is hard to replicate that good of a race. I mean, so yeah, that's how it goes.
Did, what'd he say about his ride this year? I didn't see anything about it.
I think he just reposted a bunch of stuff that Project Echelon posted. So
that's what he always does.
We don't really know.
Well, I was like all pumped yesterday morning. I was like, all right, come on, Scott, let's go get it. Like flame emojis and all kinds of stuff. And he just says, okay. Or what's he says? I guess.
That's just typical Scott. Like even if he was in good shape, he would have said that.
Nice.
Why would he not be in good shape? What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. He's had knee problems this year.
Yeah, but he did a nationals block.
And he got second in the crit. Like,
I know that was the funny thing. We had a bunch of people that messaged in that were like, Scott got second and he wasn't even training for the crit.
He's got to have some, he's been on the podium. I think every year that he's done pro crit nats, he's been on the podium, which is like impressive. He's gotten third the last 2 years. And then this year he got second. Like, that's impressive.
Yeah, maybe he should actually focus on that, huh?
I know. He should train for the crit, not the road race.
Scott would be a really good crit racer if he focused on
good crit racer.
What do you mean he would be? He is.
He already is.
Well, I'm just saying he doesn't even focus on crit racing, and he gets into, a national crit and gets second.
Yeah, but I get why he doesn't, because if you just focus on crit racing, you're just it's a dead end road to US cycling. And if you want to go beyond racing in the US, crit racing ain't it.
Yeah, true. It's just like gravel,
Yeah, right. We've already accepted our fate. We're destined for American cycling. And I think he still wants to try to go to Europe.
Yeah.
Does he though? Because I feel like every time we ask him, he's just like, I don't even really care that much about bike racing.
Dude, that's Scott. Of course he wants to go. You wouldn't be racing road races and focused on road racing if your goal wasn't to get to Europe. You'd be doing crits and gravel racing.
Yeah, I have a hard time discerning how much Scott cares about bike racing, because I feel like, look, you don't train 30 hours in a week if you don't care, right? Like clearly he cares, but
you also don't need to train 30 hours in a week if you care enough to not have to cram train, right?
I think I am convinced that I think he is the most talented out of all of us.
For sure, by far.
It's not even a question.
If you bottle up all of our talent, it's not even Scott's talent.
Yeah, he'll just put in 1 30-hour week and it seems like he pops right back. He has a knee injury for months, does a big block of training, and he gets second in the crit. I'm like, that's impressive. Like that's
yeah.
Not everybody can do that.
Did any of you guys watch the crit? Was it live streamed anywhere?
It was on Flow.
Okay. Did you watch it, Tyler? Okay.
I watched the highlights.
The guy that won, I mean, he had a pretty big gap. I mean, it was hard to tell because I just watched kind of like the last, I don't know, I guess corner pretty much.
Just a sprint, right?
Burgoyne,
he just sprinted fast.
That's what I was wondering. He had a huge gap for a bunch sprint.
Yeah, I think it was just a standard sprint.
Wow. Okay. I just didn't know if like maybe he was like off the front solo and then like they were catching him at the line, or if he really just had that much extra punch.
I think he's already won a few other bunch sprints this year. Now that like all the other crit teams have folded, he's rose to the top.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I actually didn't even know that Scott was second when I first saw the first highlight, and I like slowed it down and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Scott. And I'm pretty sure he just got second. And then, yeah, it turns out he did.
Good.
Yeah. So Tyler, what you said, I was trying to find the results, but instead I just found like the cycling news race recap from the road race. You said Scott actually ended up 20th.
Yeah, he ended up 20th. His teammate Ricky Arnapol was in 10th.
What about Boardman? Because Boardman was in the early break for like most of the day.
Yeah, Boardman was a couple seconds behind Scott. So that's good that Scott sprinted for 20th. One of those guys.
Only 22 people finished on the
13
lap.
13 minutes down.
13 minutes down on Skin Quimmins?
Yep, exactly.
How far back was second place?
Did you see how
252?
Did you see how Quinn Simmons, he crossed the line and he already had a national champs jersey. Like somebody like gave him a national champs jersey on the line and he had it ready. Like within 10 seconds of crossing the line.
Did it have his logos on it?
Like his custom one?
I don't know. You have to go back and watch the highlights, but he crosses the line. Like he does like the gun shooting thing, puts him in the holster, crosses the line. And then he's like, like hugging his girlfriend and he's like with his family or whatever, and like somebody hands him the national champs jersey and he's already got one.
I mean, you guys have done races.
But was it he won it 2 years ago? Maybe he already gave him his old jersey.
Yeah, he already won it. So.
Okay.
And like we've all been to races, I think, where you look at the reg start list and you're like, I'm gonna win. Yeah, I got it. And I'm pretty sure that's probably what he did.
Yeah, fair enough.
Did he get in the early break and just solo?
So he actually didn't get in the early break. He had to bridge up to the early break. There was like 5 or 6 riders that were in an early break, and then him and I think it was one other guy that something August or maybe August something. AJ August. They both
on Ineos, man. Come on.
Whatever.
He's the kid. He's the kid that's on Ineos that has like a 99 VO2 and did the Paris-Roubaix this year.
Okay, well if he's that good, then Skin Quimmins wouldn't have thought that he was going to win outright, right? I mean, like,
yeah, true. Yeah, but Simmons is like 10 years older than him. So
yeah, but they bridged up to the break together and then sounded like pretty much controlled the whole thing.
I bet AJ August is still U23. He must have raced
19. Yeah, he's 19 years old.
In the elite.
He's 19.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, he's young. He's like the youngest kid to do Paris-Roubaix in like 100 years or something.
Adam, give him a break, dude. 19 years old, bro.
No, dude.
Yeah. I already said this a few months ago, but the reason he's on Ineos is probably because they saw his VO2 and was like, we're going to develop you into a great cyclist.
Probably
a pretty good program for it too. Yeah.
Did you see our girl, Kristen Faulkner won the women's race?
Yeah, but she dropped the ball in the TT, didn't she? Didn't she win the gold medal at the Olympics in the time trial?
Yeah.
And she can't even win the national championships.
Way to be a negative Nancy, Drew.
I'm just pointing out the obvious here.
Did she win the...
Did she win the TT or did she just win the road race?
I know she won the road race.
Didn't win the time trial. That's
no, but I'm talking about it at the Olympics. I honestly can't.
Oh,
yeah. I thought she won the road race, not the time trial.
I thought she won multiple.
Maybe.
No, she definitely won the road race. I thought she won. Did she win some stuff on the track as well? Is that she came home with multiple medals?
Yeah, but
you can get a medal for not winning. You know that?
I thought she had 2 gold medals.
Okay, I don't know.
Maybe she was on one of the velodrome teams, the track teams.
Yeah. And we all know how easy it is to get a track medal, right, Drew?
There's like when there's 50 events, it's ridiculous.
Okay, yeah. So she won the individual road race and the women's track cycling team pursuit.
There we go. My bad. Not the time trial.
And she was second in the time trial this year to Emily Ehrlich in the national championships.
Well, then I take back my statement. I'm sorry.
Okay, so I mean, still pretty decent.
No, dude, we only want winners on this podcast.
Dude, Bruner
all
was
of us need to be kicked off.
Bruner was fifth in the time trial.
Wow,
he had a good road race too. I think he was like top 10 in the road race. So
I think he was like 11th or 12th.
Whatever, pretty
close enough. Round up. Top 20%. Yeah, I didn't see any of the road races besides what USA Cycling and Flow Sports put on Instagram. So it's just really hard to sit down and like tune in for circuit race, I guess. But
yeah, you know what I want to talk about is the World Cup, the Mountain Bike World Cup.
But yeah, I saw some highlights from that.
Yeah, you want to tell us about it? Our boy
Blevins bringing home 2 wins.
Yeah, dude.
And neither one of them were like, well, the short track wasn't pretty. I mean, he dropped his chain on the last lap.
I was going to say, the short track was actually like maybe one of the most legendary wins of all time.
I mean, it depends on what your definition of pretty is. I mean, I guess like dropping your chain isn't pretty, but the fact that he freaking won after dropping his chain is
and he put his chain back on his bike on a mountain bike course without getting off his mountain bike.
Yeah, how did he do that? Because I was assuming they all run one by. How in the world did he do that?
He does run one by.
Then how do you put your chain back on?
You saw him, he dropped his dropper in the whoop section where he dropped it. He like puts his dropper down, and then you just see him reaching down. So I'm assuming I don't know which side it fell off on.
It had to have been like
practiced that
outboard. It had to have fallen off outboard, and then he like just snaked it back on the chain ring without sniping his finger off.
That could have went bad. And
that was like, remember when Sepp Kuss did I think the same thing, or maybe he like he swapped his battery on his rear derailleur or something like that mid race
on like a downhill.
Yeah, reaching down there,
holding on to the car.
Yeah, dude, that was kind of crazy. I mean, like,
not to take anything away from Chris Blevins, but I actually have done that before, Drew. I have dropped my chain on a 1x SRAM and put it back on without getting off my bike.
Yeah, but in the middle of a World Cup short track?
No.
And win?
Yeah,
I've dropped
like
my
that's
chain
the part
too,
that's the part that's wild.
And put it back on, but
no, I'm saying I have not had to get off my bike to put my chain back on a 1x SRAM before.
Wow, you probably are just as good as you're Blevins. You're the new Blevins.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying like, okay, in the middle of the last lap of a World Cup short track, it's absolutely insane that he did that. But what I'm saying is like
in the whoop section.
Yeah, what I'm saying is it's totally doable. Like if I can do it, you can do it, Drew.
Oh, okay. I did learn how to before electric shifting in college. We had like, barrel adjusters, and it seemed like my rear derailleur was always getting screwed up. So I learned how to unclip my right foot and swing it over to where both my legs are on the left side of my bike and rest my stomach on my saddle and then reach back and adjust my barrel adjuster while I was riding. Does that make sense? So it looked like I was about to do a cyclocross dismount, but instead I reached back and
I used to just do it with my shoe. Like I would just kick my foot back there and twist it.
Yeah, I saw Daxton Mock at BWR Cali in one of the off-road sections, just like unclip his shoe and just straight up kick his rear derailleur because I guess it went into crash mode or something, and it started working again.
Yeah, that seems like a way to get it working
I was
again.
like, dang, it like you could tell that was pretty rehearsed. Like he's had to do that multiple times because he did it so smoothly. Like knew exactly where to hit the derailleur. I was like, wow, that was impressive.
So do we have confirmation on the tires that the Specialized boys are using?
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to talk about the most contentious topic here?
Well, so I'm still not positive on the exact model that they're using. Do you know?
They're using 50 mil, so it doesn't have to be the Tracer. I don't think they make 50 mil in anything else, right?
I guess so, yeah. Because they were using Pathfinder 47s, right?
I don't know. I remember seeing them using gravel tires before, but I didn't remember them being Pathfinders. I thought they were always using the tracers.
Are they doing that?
I don't know, faster, dude. Clearly they don't follow US gravel racing. Yeah, so Specialized, and I don't want to say this definitively because I still am not positive on what tires are running, but I'm pretty sure Specialized riders are using gravel tires for short track. And I mean, to be fair, like probably the most important part of the course is the sprint finish, and it's paved. So there is an argument to be made that, like, you know, if you can just stick in the pack the entire race and then just bust out your sprint, and that's the most important part of the race for you, you actually do want the best tire for the paved section.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
You seem unconvinced.
No. Sorry,
Yeah,
sure. I'm trying to look up and see if we can actually confirm which tires they were. Trying to even look for some pictures. I'm pretty sure they were
tracers.
Tracers, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he talked about it, and he said that the Specialized engineers and product development team has been doing a bunch of research, and that is the fastest setup for those courses.
Okay. I guess, you know, a thing to take into account too is that they're obviously doing these races on full suspension mountain bikes, which is probably overkill for these short track courses. And when we do gravel races, we're doing them on essentially rigid bikes with no suspension. Like the tires are the suspension.
Okay, confirmed they are tracers because I can see it in the picture here. Yeah, I mean that is a huge difference, right? Now it would be interesting to see. So our guy John Carish, who's our new tire guy, go-to resource for all things real world tire testing. Great guy, by the way. He's been messaging me at least quite a bit about tire stuff, but it'd be interesting to see the same tire run on two different bikes, full rigid and full suspension, and see how varied the results are.
Yeah,
because that's essentially what you're talking about here. And I guess you could. I don't think you need to, like with his Chung method, like you can extrapolate out all the all the different variables, but you could, I guess, just run the same tire on the same bike and just lock out your suspension versus unlocked. Like that would be one way to do it. But I'd be more interested to know like a gravel bike setup versus a full sus mountain bike.
Yeah, the problem is when you do two completely different bikes, there's a lot of variables that you're not considering. I know weight, aerodynamics. I mean, there could even be like differences in the efficiency of the drivetrain between the two bikes. Like you're adding so many variables at that point. I do think that the better way to do it would be just lock out your suspension.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember you did some of the testing a while back where you were comparing locked out versus unlocked suspension, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And your conclusion was that it was negligible, right?
My conclusion was that it didn't make a difference even on a paved road. But there may or may not be power meter errors with, and I don't, it's been so long since I did that test that I feel like I don't have it in the front of my memory to talk about this because it was very complicated and it took me a lot of thinking at the time to fully understand why having a crank-based power meter on a full suspension mountain bike may be reading slightly inaccurately.
Yeah, well, I think it has to do with the fact that like the crank is moving in space.
Mm-hmm.
So
did we
like
talk about this on this podcast before?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, but Adam's an engineer, so hit us with some smarts, dude.
Well, so I mean, like the way that power is calculated is like force times velocity, basically. So like the fact that your power meter is moving, like the force to to turn the crank is also being like, some of that's being lost to your bike moving up and down.
Yeah.
So I would think that like if your power meter is reading 200 watts, you're actually probably doing more than 200 watts. So that, like if you're trying to do it based on holding a consistent power, I mean, that's where the testing flaw comes in, because your power meter might be reading the same power input, but it's actually not. You're not actually outputting the same power.
So the only way to get around that would have to be like, because the pedals would be moving too if you did a pedal based power meter. So you'd have to do like one of those old school power hubs. Get yourself that rear wheel. That was my first power meter, that big fat power hub.
I don't think that would solve the problem either.
Oh, you don't think so?
No.
Because that wouldn't be moving. The suspension wouldn't be affecting the rear wheel.
It would, though.
I mean,
I guess maybe. Like
ultimately, that's what suspension affects, is the rear wheel.
Right.
Well, I was thinking like the rear wheel in relation to the road. But
see, look, this is why I didn't really want to.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't really want to get down this rabbit hole, because when I did it, like the amount of time that I spent thinking about this problem, it's not an easy problem that we're going to solve on this podcast. I'm telling you right now, it's extremely complicated and requires a lot of thought. And like, I actually like talked to multiple different engineers that had different opinions about this at the time that I did it.
Hey, Vanderpoel broke his wrist. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, we can talk about that, I guess.
What a jabroni.
Yeah.
Dude, that makes me feel,
watching really good guys crash. I'm not saying that I like, no. Hear me out. I don't like enjoy watching.
Whatever you're about to say is going to make you sound like a dick. I'm just letting you know right now.
And, yep, I like Vanderpoel. So watching him crash but it makes me feel way better about myself, because I'm like, oh, okay. So even like the best guys in the world crash sometimes. So like when I crash, I'm not just a doofus. Like people crash. That a part of bike racing is crashing.
Yeah,
I mean, I've talked to you about this, Dylan. Like one of the biggest fears I have in these big pro races is that I'm going to crash and I'm going to crash out somebody else. Like I don't want to. If I crash, not that big of a deal, but if I crash and I take out like Keegan and I'm the guy that crashed out Keegan, that would
you're the unsung hero, dude.
I mean, that's his fault for being behind you.
A million people would hate me, but the 175 people who are also in the race would praise me.
Yeah. So,
I'm like afraid to do that. I'm like, I get so nervous when I'm around those like the all-stars. And
dude, you should not have that mentality.
I know.
Like, that's such a bad
I know that I
have.
shouldn't.
I like Drew. It surprises me that you still have so much like imposter syndrome.
I know.
I'm just being honest. Like this is what happens when I'm in.
How many people do you think are out there that would feel bad if they crash you out?
There are probably people out there trying to do that, and I'm just so good they can't. I mean,
like,
and
Dizzle,
come 180.
Dizzle, let's say hypothetically you were gifted the ability to win Unbound on the day of Unbound this year. Like, it was like a gift from God.
I love your positivity, man.
You were given the ability to win Unbound. You still wouldn't win it because you have the wrong mentality. You don't think you can win it. You'd be up there with all your ability to win Unbound, and you'd think, I don't even belong here. What am I doing here?
Yeah, I'm also connected to reality and realize there's absolutely no way in the world that
right. So
then why are you even there?
Because I still like to race bikes. Like winning, we were just talking about this before the podcast. Winning isn't everything. Like I can still go out there and rip my legs off and beat some people and still be happy about it. I don't have to win to enjoy competing. I'll never win big races. Like,
well, not with that attitude.
But I'm okay with it. I've always thought like somebody has to get 6th place, because if I don't get 6th place, then the guy who won won't win.
Okay. Right? Dude, okay, so back to MVDP. Like, so if you're on the road side of cycling, like MVDP is the god. Everybody worships MVDP. He's He's amazing. He can do nothing wrong on the roadside.
Well, yeah,
if you go to Pink Bike, which is a mountain bike platform, dude, everybody makes fun of MVDP constantly because he crashed off the drop at the Olympics. They make fun of MVDP so much. They're like, bro, watch out. There might be a drop on that course. You know what I mean? Like, dude, they make so much fun of him for not being able to handle his bike. And this weekend, he did himself no favors whatsoever. He basically confirmed that stereotype, which is not great for him.
So because he crashed twice in the race, which one was it that he broke his wrist on? Do we know? Was it the second crash?
I don't know.
Was it the big? I only saw the one there where he went like OTB on the whoops when he like bounced his rear wheel.
Yeah. I think that one. And then at the start, he was trying to make a pass and clipped bars with somebody, and they just kind of rode off the course together.
Okay, that's what they called the second crash. I only saw the one on the whoops.
I think the first crash wasn't that bad. They just kind of went into the tape and stopped.
Okay.
The second one was like, I'm assuming that's the one where he hurt himself, because that one looked pretty bad.
Yeah, he definitely has this level of like overconfidence where it takes him a little bit to get when he was doing more mountain biking. He was just so dialed, like he was unstoppable, especially in the short track races, because it just fit his style, I guess, a really punchy style.
Yeah.
Finally got like an XCO win, and then he was like, nah, okay, I'm going to go to the road now. And then just like moonlights in mountain biking. But every time he comes back, he just crashes himself in some way, shape, or form. I mean, he did that in Glasgow, 2 years ago now, or even the Olympics too. I think he also crashed there, right? The same side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, not doing himself some favors.
I mean, the Olympics was like, they took a feature out that was part of the training, right?
In
like,
Tokyo. Yeah. But didn't he crash this last year in the Olympics, or did he even do the mountain bike?
No, he didn't do the mountain bike race.
Okay.
The last Olympics.
I'm thinking Glasgow. Then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what happened to MVDP at the Olympics could have happened to anyone. And I think MVDP is a good enough rider that he totally could ride that drop, 10 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like, I don't, you do yourself a favor, go to the article. I haven't even looked at the article. I'm just predicting this. Go to the article about MVDP breaking his wrist on Pink Bike and go to the comments section and watch how savage people are.
These sound like my people.
Drew's probably got 10
maybe I should join
anonymous accounts on there.
Maybe I'll fit in there a little more.
Yeah.
What I really liked is I saw Mona, what's her last name? Mittenwalder. Yeah. I saw Mona Mittenwalder do the Dylan Johnson flop at the finish line after he won. And I was like, hell yeah, that's how you finish a bike race right there. You give 110% and then you die at the finish line.
It is a little cooler when you win.
Yeah. Okay. So I
you did it for like some random place.
Dude, for 20th.
Yeah. That's literally exactly what PETA said. She said, yeah, people do that for first place. People don't do that for 16th.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, maybe if they did, they would have gotten 15th.
Wait, hold up. Is PETA back in the States now?
No, but there's this thing called texting where you can communicate with somebody who's not with you.
You guys are trying it long distance.
It's whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right. So I'm over on Pink Bike here. First comment, Mathieu slammed her pole. And then the next one says,
yeah, dude.
Mathieu Vanderplow.
Yeah,
dude, that's got to be the title of this show. Mathieu slammed her pole.
That's the first comment.
First comment.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
And it's got 139 up arrows,
proving my point.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah, like everybody on the roadside is like, "Oh, dude, this is such a bummer for Vanderpoel. Like, this is a setback. I'm, like thinking of you, MVDP." And then everybody on the mountain bike side is like, "Yeah, checks out. Can't handle his bike."
So Blevins won the short track and the XCO.
Yeah. Dylan, did you watch the XCO race?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I only saw some highlights because I haven't had time to watch the whole thing yet.
I mean, Blevins was dominant.
I was going to say, is it too early in the season to say that he's the dominant rider right now?
I don't think so.
4 races in, and he's won 3 short tracks, and has been 1-2, I think, in the top 3, I guess, podium on the other XCO races. So he's leading by a decent margin over Kretchki.
So don't they break it down into, like, don't they split short track and in XCO now, right? Like they're 2 separate World Cup rankings.
Okay.
So is he winning both of them? Do you know?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know. We can fact check ourselves.
I always wondered, like, he was already like super fast, obviously, but he's gotten a little faster in the last year. I want to know, when you're already like one of the fastest in the world, but then you become the fastest in the world, what did he do during the off season? Like, when you're already like so fast,
dude, he's actually killing everyone.
That's what I mean. But last year he wasn't. So like,
no, I'm talking about in the rankings points. I'm looking at the rankings.
Do we know what his age is?
Probably 26, 27.
He's born in 98.
Yeah. I mean, he's at that age where he's getting to his peak age. You know what I mean?
It is
27. Yeah, he's 27.
Yeah, I feel like Blevins is one of these guys where he's been on the scene for so long, at least domestically, and he's been so dominant that I myself, I think, have been critical of, not outwardly, but just like, oh man, like, why isn't he performing at a high level? And then this year, I mean, it's like all cumulative, right? And he won the short track world championship in snowshoe. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then Vanderplowed into a rock the next year after that. But he's been one of these guys that's like, you expect so much of him and you forget how young he is. But then this year he's just seemingly like coming into his own. He's on I would say a new level from where he was even in seasons past. And I mean, the short track victory was wild. And didn't he solo to the victory in the XCO?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Small guy. You didn't even have to sprint for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Insane. Like, the women's race was actually pretty interesting as well. Just like catching.
Well, so I think the other thing here too that's kind of crazy is like Kretchki's also pretty dominating himself. So like the two they are the dominant team by far.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
I mean, like, did he just start training more? Did he train more over the winter?
Probably watched
go to the
Dylan
gym
Johnson's
more?
videos.
Drew's just looking for that fast hack to glory.
Did he start taking creatine? Like, I want to know. Like,
here's what it is. He did BMX as a child, so you have to go start doing BMX, Drew, so that you can make up for that lost.
I know there are a lot of really good cyclists that started in BMX. Man,
just pumping that VO2 max at an early age.
Yeah. I think, Adam, you sent the video of Hatherley. I was watching the mountain bike races a little bit this year, and I have not been up to speed on who's transferring where. So I saw Hatherley and I just fully expected to be Cannondale, and then he's on the Giant team. And same with like Jenny Rizved's on Canyon Collective. I just haven't been paying attention, but yeah, Hatherley coming back. And just
they have like a transfer portal for mountain
biking probably on Pink Bike. Yeah. You can
just transfer to a different team if you want to.
I mean, they do it all at the beginning of the season. It's the same in road.
So you're just admitting that you don't really actually know as much as you think you know.
I just admitted that I wasn't paying attention to mountain bike transfers.
Because it's almost June. It's almost halfway through the year, Tyler.
But like the mountain bike season, I was thinking about this, like why haven't I been able to pay attention? And I think it's because like with road racing, there's just like constant content about road racing, but also the races are not so spread apart. Like you can start watching in January and there's a race every weekend since.
Want to watch me do my chain?
Since January. No.
I got to do a strip chip.
We can critique Drew's form, actually. We could take a quick aside to critique Drew's form. Oh, dude, you got to shake it more than that.
Just wiggle it till all the bubbles stop.
Yeah, you're not even you're bouncing it? What's that supposed to do? bounce the wax into the middle of the chain
or onto the floor of your Airbnb.
I don't even think he's got enough wax in there.
Oh, but I just put it in there, and I don't have something to make sure the thingy doesn't drop in there with it.
Oh, what? My God.
You didn't bring the little fishing rod?
I need a spoon or something.
I love how, like, out of all the times of the day that Drew could wax his chain, he's like, let me wax it while we're podcasting.
Yeah,
there you go.
That's a good idea.
Sponsor correct.
All right, Tyler, get back to...
I got to do a strip chip on this new chain.
The thing with the mountain bike world, it's like I just wish the races were more compact. Maybe that's because I have a shortened attention span now, but it's kind of hard to keep up. Well, and there's a lot of racing happening too. So it's hard to keep up with, like, the Masters, PGA Championship, plus
from the same guy
Giro,
that considers work, that just turns on a fireplace and that counts as your work.
No, it just makes my computer not go to sleep. I'm not working.
Yeah, I know.
Just making sure
with all that time, you could watch all the bike races.
Okay, so but you know what?
Watch all the recaps, Tyler.
For Hafley specifically, I could be wrong, but I think he missed the first couple rounds.
He did, but he was doing some road racing. I think with who's repping Giant. I can't remember. He was doing some road racing.
Well, I hope that there's an equivalent to Pink Bike. Like, I hope there's a Blue Bike, and that those guys are ripping him for his road riding skills. I hope that they're just tearing him to shreds because he's trying to be a road racer.
Was he good at road racing or not? I honestly don't know.
I mean, I think he was just doing it the same way Nino Schurter was doing it however many years ago.
Did I see that Nino Schurter got a gravel bike, and that was his first time ever riding a gravel bike on gravel? Isn't that crazy? Like,
I don't know. I mean, Europeans care a lot less about gravel than we do.
I know. I just think that that's funny. Like, it's such a big deal here. And then Nino Schurter, the best off-road rider in the world ever.
Yeah, but why would he ride? If he's going to ride gravel,
bike.
If he's ever going to ride gravel, he's going to be on his mountain bike. Like, he's a World Cup mountain bike racer, so he's just going to spend time either on his mountain bike or on the road.
I just think it's funny that the best off-road rider has
honestly, I think if I was a World Cup mountain biker, it depends on where I live, because if I live in a place with a lot of good gravel riding, I'd probably have a gravel bike. But depending on where I live, I could easily see myself, if I'm a World Cup mountain biker, just having a road bike and a World Cup cross-country mountain bike. And if I'm riding gravel, I'll just ride your mountain bike. Yeah.
Well, that's what Adam just said.
Mate,
you did that thing where you just say what Adam said better.
Yeah, maybe he's foreshadowing the next stage of his career.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Is maybe he'll do Unbound in a year or two. Like, he's going to be at Unbound one of these years, I bet.
Yeah.
I mean, Hatherley was on the road with.
He'll probably do the 100-mile though.
He was with Jayco earlier this year. He got 6th at the Alula Tour, and then
Nino
66th in La Flèche Wallonne. No, Hatherley.
Oh, racing classics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. He did Strada Bianchi, Volta Andalusia, McGill Indurain, Basque Country. So he's getting some time.
How old is he?
He's 29.
Oh wow, I thought he was older than that for some reason.
No.
Okay, so he's still got potential.
Yeah, he's still got some years left in him.
So when Nino did it though, wasn't he just doing it to try and improve himself as a mountain biker? Like, just basically improve fitness?
Yeah, I think he was just, I don't know, something new to do. I don't know that he did like the Swiss tour.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't, going to the Tour de France or something like that. But yeah. I think it's just probably just a way for these guys to get bigger training volume. You kind of see it with like, a lot of the cyclocrossers like Vanderpool and Wout, like they go to the road probably for money and other challenges as well. But
probably for money.
Just see how much it kind of accelerates their growth. Like they were already really good, and now they're heads and tails above.
Well, yeah, if you're a
else.
cyclocross or XCO specific racer, you're never racing for more than 90 minutes, right? Or in cross, 70 minutes. So if you want to get that like all day, 4 or 5 hour race effort, you got to go do it on the road or gravel.
Yeah. And even, I
guess you could race endurance mountain bike too, but
Sam Gaze took some time on the road too. Like, he would kind of moonlight on the road. I think he the last season he transferred back mostly. But yeah, all these guys kind of dip in and out of the road discipline, it seems.
And road racing's fun. Like
they haven't stooped to the lows of gravel yet,
mountain biking. So I bet it's good for variety too. Like probably just keeps them motivated.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, are we going to talk about the Giro at all, or is that something that we save for Patreon now?
Man, I thought you guys just did that yesterday.
This young Mexican winning, like I think he's going to pull it off. Del Toro.
We'll see.
Are we looking at somebody who could potentially a new young star that could contend with Pog and Jonas?
Yeah, I mean, he's like he's like 21 years old. So,
but he's on UAE with Pog, right?
Yeah. Del Toro. First of all, Del Toro is like the sickest name ever.
It is.
Not even in cycling. I mean, just in general, Del Toro.
I wonder what that translates to. Do you guys know? Tyler, you know.
Isn't it bull?
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the bull.
That's even better.
That's why it's even that's why it's sick.
He just like catapulted to my new favorite.
My gosh, dude, I'm keeping up with the stage today. And Ayuso is tumbling. Well, Roglic dropped out.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
From injury?
A little bitch. No, he was sick. And he's supposedly just training for the tour. So he's just like
to make it
just kind of using this as
he hit his TSS minimum
tour and then have to quit 5 days from the finish.
Oh, I mean,
what a waste of time.
Yeah. He says he abandoned the Giro. We'll see how he goes. I mean, that dude's like, his white whale is a TDF, overall win, but I don't think it's getting the cards for him. But yeah, Ayuso virtual Jennifer GC is 3 minutes down now. So I think Del Toro came in and said, I'm the captain now, and made Ayuso sit down.
Yeah. I mean, so, I was talking about this on the Patreon only episode that we have, but
don't mention it here. Make these people pay.
Give people a teaser.
Yeah.
Give them a teaser.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, like, if you are capable of winning a Grand Tour at the age of 20 or 21 years old, like, we're talking about a generational talent. Like, that's, Pogacar won his first Tour de France at 20 or 21.
I thought he was 19.
I think he was 20. Yeah. But
yeah, I mean,
regardless,
he's super talented. And again, I mean, like we said yesterday, like it's been said by other things. It's like, it's kind of don't know where he came from. He's not this big name. Like with a lot of these guys, you see them kind of coming up and you're like, okay, that's a guy for the future. And then they finally break through.
Probably
and they have that good result.
Juniors last year.
Yeah, not too far off.
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously,
he probably still could have been doing the U23, the baby Giro or something like that. But yeah, I mean, he just kind of popped up out of nowhere. And on UAE, that has just an embarrassment of riches in terms of potential GC riders. It seems pretty cutthroat over there.
Also, he didn't just pop up. I thought he popped up out of nowhere, but Chase, who's a better bike race fan than all of us, informed me this morning that he didn't just pop up out of nowhere. He got like third at the not the Tour Down Under, but the other one that's real early in the year.
The Tour Down Under.
The Alula Tour. He got like third and won a stage in his debut to the World Tour.
Yeah, but
World Tour race.
Alan Hatherley got sixth, so what does that say?
First ever
dude,
World
you see
Tour
his
race,
crash?
he wins a stage and gets third in GC. Like that turns some heads.
What do you guys like? Nova Mesto is one of those mountain bike tracks that I'm like, I would love to go rip around that. It looks so fun to go ride. Also really treacherous. I think I'd probably walk down that rock and roll section, but I don't know how you guys feel about it.
Yeah, it looks sick.
I think it
actually looks like a really fun World Cup XC course. Not that the other ones don't look fun, but that one looks particularly fun.
I mean, it's not a ski hill, right? It's not like, climb up to the top of this hill and then bomb back down. It's actually
the rock and roll. Is that entirely a man-made rock garden, or are those rocks naturally there?
I'm sure it's a mix of both. Like maybe the rocks were there, but they definitely moved them into position.
Yeah. It looks sketchy even on video. I don't know. It's probably sketchier in real life because video never seems to do it justice. So
yeah. It definitely, like when they've raced there and it's been wet, like that's when it looks super sketch. That's when I'm watching some of those XCO races where they're racing in the rain, I'm just like, dude, that's super gnarly.
Yeah. I mean, the courses already look pretty sketchy. What was the one that there's one in Switzerland that's in I thought Nino's hometown. That has just
I thought we already talked about mountain bikes. We were talking about the Bull. Is the Bull doing the Tour de France?
No, he's not.
He's not?
No, dude.
He might change his mind?
I don't know. I mean, it's a month away.
He's probably too young, right?
Drew, the problem is that he's on UAE, and UAE is not going to be riding for him.
Bro, what if he shows up and he takes the lead over Pog, and Pog has to work for him?
Yeah, but that would
never happen.
It would happen, I guess, if Pog crashed out. But
be rad.
Yeah, he's not on the preliminary start list for UAE. It's Pog, Almeida, Dillman, Novak, Adam Yates, who's at the Giro now, Soler, Sivakov, Pollitt, Narvaez, and Wellens.
Got it. Dang. So I guess Vanderpoel's not doing. Vanderpoel wasn't going to do the tour anyways, was he?
He was. He's on the preliminary start list. He's just not going to the altitude camp that he had, but he's on Zwift. Check that Instagram. Got to get those sponsors happy.
He's already on Zwift.
Already on Zwift.
Yeah, dude. He posted a picture of himself or a video of himself today riding his Zwift bike.
Did he? What's the? What was the diagnosis? Like, is he
scaphoid?
Oh, okay, that's like the worst one.
Yeah.
Screw or no screw?
I don't think he's had surgery yet.
Oh, I mean, somebody like him, he would have already had surgery. Because the sooner you get surgery, the quicker you'll heal.
Yeah.
I mean, when Pog broke his,
I didn't see anything about surgery, so I'm assuming it's
his scaphoid. I think he was in surgery like
that day,
5 hours after he crashed. I mean, it was insane how quick they.
Yeah, I don't. As far as I saw, he has not had surgery. But they said it was a minor fracture, so maybe it's just not a bad one. Yeah. I don't think there's like full bone separation or anything. Hey, I got to bounce. Does Chase want to come on now? It seems like a good time. Oh. Tyler, you got listener questions you can pull up?
He just jumped off the couch.
He's ready.
He's so ready. He's been waiting for this moment.
Let me tell you what you guys are wrong about.
Let's go look at those dad watts.
Are we going to talk about Unbound? It is Unbound week. I thought that's all we were going to talk about.
Yeah, why don't you guys talk about Unbound? I gotta jump. Tyler, do you have listener questions if you need to? Or
yeah, I got a couple. Actually, answer the ones that you and Scott botched last week. So.
Yeah, can we talk about how bad that episode was? Oh man, I apologize on behalf of this podcast for how bad it was.
There you go. All right,
I'll never miss again.
All right, later.
I think we all know it's because I wasn't on.
Yeah, that's why I know that was a bummer that both of us were off. So I can't just say it because it was because I wasn't on.
The bummer was we left Scott on and he just looked at his phone for half the episode.
And it turned into a 1 hour ad read. All you guys did was read ads for the whole episode.
Man, gotta let people know where they can get their tires and their chain wax and
their lawyers,
ketones, and who to call if they.
I like how Dizzle is the one getting mad about the episode turning into an ad read right now. So all Dizzle does is ad read.
As he turns this one into.
I got the SILCA crock pot, our new mug from Scarborough. Bicycle accident law.
Yeah. Proving my point.
All right.
Yeah, I guess we can talk about Unbound, huh?
Is it going to be wet this week?
It's raining right now, and it's been raining the past 2 days. And then actually the first road is underwater right now.
Oh my
Dillman
gosh.
is so famous that in the comments on the post where they posted the underwater road, somebody was like, oh, Dylan didn't actually get injured. He just has a better weather app. So he just didn't want to come race in the mud. And I'm like, people just comment about you like randomly. Why do they do that? Like, you're not that big of a deal.
Is the race going to happen if it's raining on race day, or are they going to like?
I think it's supposed to rain today, and then there's a. Oh, here we go.
Wow, that looks
like a river.
Miserable.
Oh my God!
I think it's supposed to stop raining today, and then there's only one more big blip of rain tomorrow night between now and the race. So like all day, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday look dry. So I think it'll dry up a good bit.
I'm just going to mentally prepare to be exhausted reading everybody's post about how hard it was because there was one puddle on the course.
You only live like 2 hours from here. Why don't you just like drive up here and do a live stream like you did a few years ago at Big Sugar?
Because I thought about it. There's no cell service there.
Oh, true.
I don't have a freaking helicopter that can beam me up to space to post this shit. So
that's true.
There's no point.
Yeah.
I definitely know.
Yeah, I mean, but raining a lot the week before and then it being dry on race day, that's actually kind of the worst case scenario.
Because it'll probably be like peanut butter mud. Like it'll have enough time
to dry,
but not totally dry.
If it stops raining today, maybe it'd be fine, but I don't know.
Nah, it looks like there's a pretty big system. At least on my phone, it looks like there's a pretty big blip coming in tomorrow night too.
Well, are you guys excited about that or are you not excited about that?
Dude, I want mud.
Yeah, we're on the Lao freaking Segla.
I made the front group 2 years ago because I was on the Lauf.
Yeah.
Not because he's fast, because of the Lauf.
Right. Okay. Have we decided what tires we're doing if it's an absolute shit show?
Dubnatals if it's dry, Race Kings with the nipple hairs still on it because it sheds mud.
Is that scientifically proven, or is that
so you're still
like
going to do Race Kings if it's muddy?
That's like redneck proven of me going and playing in the mud in Minnesota.
Would you do the 2.0s?
No, 2.2s.
Oh, okay.
It'd be like a Specialized or Trek rider putting like a 40 millimeter tire in there.
Yeah, freaking Specialized
because of the frame.
Yeah, because of the frame size.
Well, I've got the Race Kings for dry, and I've got the Getaways for if it's muddy. I've got the 40s and the 45s, but I'd probably just do the 40s because like even more mud clearance.
How much clearance is there in the SILCA? Obviously 2.2, right?
I can fit a 2.4 with like some room to spare.
Yeah, like the 2.2s look normal on it, and when you put on like 40s or 45s, it's like it's like absurd how much space there is.
Do you still run the Getaways? Is like it's not quite a file tread down the middle, right?
No, it's got a little bit of tread, but like when it's muddy, it doesn't even matter. The reason I would run the Getaways is because I know they wouldn't flat. I can get it would be a narrower tire and they won't flat.
So when will you make your final decision on what tires to run?
Friday night.
Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Dude, Chase is probably going to be up until like 2 a.m. switching his tires up.
My bike is fine. This is the first time I've come to Unbound with like my bike set up and I'm not going to change anything.
Don't believe it.
And I've hired a mechanic if I need my tires changed.
Is it going to be hot on race day or no?
83 is the high.
Oh, mine said 86.
Okay.
Are you guys going to quit? You guys going to get a flat?
No.
If there's anything that we should have made a t-shirt about that we didn't, it was that.
Wait, can I show them my t-shirt I made?
Oh yeah. He made a funny t-shirt.
Did you guys do it with Sharpie?
No, he did pretty good.
Why aren't you selling lunch boxes as like musettes? That's what you guys should do. You should have those like igloo coolers as like your musettes that you pick up.
I have one. It's out in my car though. It looks pretty cool.
Race King. Nice. But
That's the Burger King logo.
They got rid of that. They got rid of the Race King though. They're swapping it out with Dubnatal.
I know. This is in memorial to.
I do like that shirt. That's sick. That's sick.
You'll have to see my shorts. I have a whole expo outfit I've put together both days.
All right. So for those who are listening who didn't see the shirt the shirt is, first of all,
just go to YouTube and watch.
No. First of all, the shirt is pink for some reason.
Okay, I'll go grab the shorts because
the shirt is pink, and then it says it has the Burger King logo, but instead of burger, it says race. So it's Race King.
Thank you for that explanation.
Dude, that's what you do when you're on a podcast and people can't see things.
No, you tell them to go to the YouTube channel.
He doesn't get
Yeah, you probably don't even know, Dylan. You don't have kids and you didn't watch cartoons as a kid.
No, that's this Patrick Star shorts.
Wow, there we go.
Dude, I watched SpongeBob as a kid.
You were a normal child.
Yeah. SpongeBob was like the most popular show when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Our kid doesn't watch SpongeBob.
I don't really know what Patrick Star has to do with Race Kings, but
I just wanted a cool outfit for the expo.
yeah, that's definitely what I would consider.
T-shirt and like gray khaki joggers.
Wearing a black T-shirt and gray.
That's probably what Dylan's wearing right now.
He's wearing black on black.
Yeah, dude.
Nobody is as edgy as Dylan.
I'm wearing, black shorts, black shirt, typical.
All right. So since you guys are at Unbound, where the spirit of gravel is dead, Calvin was asking about what your opinions are on regulating a mandatory amount of time in feed zones, like via timing chips. So like having to spend 30 to 45 seconds in 1 or 2 feed zones on some of these gravel races.
Wait, I have a hot take on this. They banned aero bars because they say they're dangerous. I've never seen someone crash because of aero bars, but I have seen people crash in feed zones because they're trying to like rush and hurry and like, so I think they should slow down the feed zones and make it mandatory, and they should unban aero bars just because one whiny little pro wanted them banned.
Yeah, dude. Preach.
Are we gonna name the whiny pro?
Pete's
dude, people know.
I mean, he knows it. This isn't news to him.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I have not one rebuttal to that. That's a great, solid point right there.
I also have heard, I think it was Pete, he was like, it's another equipment cost to run aero bars, but it's also more expensive to get like 10 people to come to Unbound, so you get have a huge feed zone. So,
dude, you're spitting straight facts right now. Yeah.
I'm not,
which is not what this is about
at all.
Yeah. Dude, and people, you know what? I'm going to add to it. People are like, oh man, like you have to practice with your aero bars and that sucks. Dude, you got to practice these feed zones.
I mean, here's the thing. You could just go to Bike Tires Direct and use code BONKBROS and get 10% off of set of aero bars. It wouldn't be that hard. And that way you have plenty of time to practice. Shipping's pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be ready.
And here's another thing too, is now you've got all kinds of people doing crazy things to their bikes to try to replicate aero bars, which is probably more dangerous than having aero bars, because now people are trying to like pretend they have aero bars, but they don't actually have aero bars.
Well, come on, Drew. Don't say that. You're going too far.
That's just me.
Yeah. It's probably just Chase. He ran a hydration system that goes in front of his handlebars so that he could hold on to that as they were aero bars. And those, I've ran it. It's like a plastic thing that feels like it could fall off. Like it's not as safe as aero bars.
Dude, it's safe. You know, it's not safe. Chopping your drops.
Yeah.
Yeah, geez, I saw you doing that and I had to keep scrolling. So, I mean, yeah, so feed zones are already safe. I mean, in the Giro, just bringing it back to road racing, we saw Luke Plapp almost eat shit because some guy from Bora just like slapped 3 water bottles on the ground like they were a banana peel in Mario Kart. But I mean, if the feed zones, I've heard there's been a couple of crashes in some of these races. Do you think that they should do something like mandating a minimum stop in them? Like, what did you take?
Speed limit? Speed limit idea.
Pit speed limiter, like F1.
Once you hit the black line, you have to go 10 miles per hour. And
So I'm pretty sure we actually already answered this question like 2 podcasts ago, but like I can see both sides of the argument. And I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but whatever.
Yeah, go ahead.
I can see both sides of the argument. One argument is like, hey, let's not be dicks in the feed zone and just like, let's not have the race decided in the feed zone type deal. You know, real spirit of gravel argument there. And I get that, you know, but then at the same time, I think there's the F1 argument, which is like pits are part of the race. And if you're slow in the pit, that's on you, buddy. Like you lost the race because you were slow in a part of the race that matters. You know, and I'm not saying one is right and one is wrong. I'm just saying it's a decent argument both ways.
Yeah, but most of the time F1 teams are just burning money. I don't think any like pro gravel cyclists.
Yeah.
Like, we have a budget.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, like clearly getting a Unbound pit crew is in most pro gravel racers' budgets because like it seems like every pro gravel racer has a pit crew now.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chase's mom and dad. First one's free. I mean, so this one came in from behind the scenes here. What tires would you run in a dry Unbound? I think.
Oh my gosh, dude, come on. We answered this last week.
Okay.
We just answered it.
I didn't listen to the podcast. What do you think I did? All right. I want to actually, one that came up last week or 2 weeks ago. Let me try to find it again. It's gone. Anyways.
There was one last week that I was wishing that I was on. Like, if you had to do a garage build out for a bike shop, what would you put in it?
Yeah, I just found it.
And Scott put like, you get an air compressor, like
a bike.
How lame is that? No. You would get a refrigerator, fill that sucker up with every soda you could imagine.
Soda, dude.
Get like an entire snack drawer. Like, if you're going to have an awesome bike shop, you got to have a soda fridge and a snack.
Dude, sometimes I think you are a 12-year-old boy.
I made it this far.
Dude, soda. I'd have my ketones in there on ice. That would be sick.
My buddy,
is that
like
Bonk
one of my
Bros code for
favorite
free
parts
shipping?
about there was another podcast that used to exist, the Bike Shop Show with Scott Dedenbach, and he'd show up to all the cross races, and the most favorite thing about Scott and his built out van was the snack drawer. And every time I would see him at a cross race, I'd go to his van and raid his snack drawer.
What a mooch.
Yeah, I literally
get your own
like,
snacks, dude.
That is me to the max. I'm a mooch, 100%.
All right, so let's take this back to road racing since we have one other person on here that knows about it. Steven was asking about some of the American names that he looks at the start list and sees a lot of these American names. So who excites you as like a potential GC contender, or who would be a potential GC contender of the American riders with like the tour coming up and such? Any names stick out?
McNulty would be our best hope, but
we can't hear you, dude.
Mathieu Drew said McNulty, but if Drew followed road racing, he would know McNulty's like domestique.
Yeah,
heavy climbing boy.
And they're both on the wrong team. All of our American hopes are all on teams where they work for if Sepp Kuss or McNulty were on, I don't know, the French FDJ, they'd probably be the guy that they'd be working for. But because they're on these like mega star teams, they're just domestiques.
Yeah, but it's also hard too for like, I mean, dude, being a GC rider doesn't seem pretty tough. Like, and McNulty's, I feel like he's got a really good time trial, but I don't think he climbs as well as Jonas or Pog does.
I mean, can't we just be Sepp Kuss won a Grand Tour 2 years ago? Like, we should. I mean, I'm happy with that. Not that many countries can say they've won a Grand Tour. There's only 3 every year. So in the last
that's true.
5 years, there's only been 15, and one of those was won by an American.
Wow, Dizzle math that actually is a real math. That's nice.
There's a lot of other countries that probably wish that they had won a Grand Tour.
I mean, would you say that
did it on accident, which is almost like
that's what I was going to ask.
Like,
do you
think flex? I accidentally won a Grand Tour.
I mean, he had to be there. He had to put himself in the situation to be able to win or to take time. It helped that his teammates were 2 and 3.
Dude, he wasn't even trying to win.
Yeah,
he showed up not trying to win, and then he ended up winning.
And he won. Yeah, I mean, I think I think Matteo Jorgensen is probably the guy that is on that trend or on that track to potentially win GC of a Grand Tour, or at least have like co-leadership.
My answer is our boy, Scott McGill.
He's the one that excites you the most.
Once he figures out this knee injury thing and he starts really training, dude, unstoppable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Do we know if is there going to be a live stream of the of Unbound? Are we going to get Instagram updates?
Just the second half. So
just the second half.
Like they're going to start 5 hours. Once it hits 5 hours, I guess they're going to start and they're going to do a recap of the first 5 and then they're going to live stream the second half. Isn't that
nice?
Right? Yeah. So what's our team goal?
TV time.
You guys are going in the early break then?
Yeah.
Both of us.
Send it.
Both of you.
Send it often.
If possible.
So are you guys, is that, have you made deals? Are you going to like ride up to Stetna and just be like, hey, can you let me go in the early break and don't worry about chasing me?
Great guy to bring into the early break. He would, like, the only chance he has to win is probably a break. He's not going to win the sprint. In
the Unbound peloton, who do you have to ask for permission to go into the early break if they're blocking the road?
Master Tobin. And he always lets me go. So, and he's like,
do you really ask him? Tobin, can I attack?
No, but last year when I attacked, he's like, see you later, Aero Dork. And I'm like, okay, that was.
I feel like you and Tobin have an interesting relationship where you guys make fun of you, or he makes a lot of fun of you, but it's like there's some level of respect or, I don't know, some level of, I don't know. It's not.
It's like the opposite of Dizzle and I's relationship. We make a lot of fun of each other with no respect for one another.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like me and Kyle Trudeau. I'm I'm like afraid to
dude, why do you hate
if I see him, I'm like gonna go the other way. Like I'm afraid to run into that guy on the street.
You should be, dude.
Dude, I wouldn't pull through.
I've talked to Kyle Trudeau. He seems like a chill guy.
Yeah, I think I've talked to him before too, but that was before a few race incidents. Now I'm afraid to talk to him.
And now you've talked a lot of shit about him on this podcast.
I haven't talked any crap about him. I just talk about
what are you talking about, dude? Like nearly every episode you bring him up. You either bring up
because I just think it's so funny that he's gotten so mad at me when we're in the group together.
No, like you will either bring up one of two things and they're always completely irrelevant. Lance Hayden being the hottest gravel rider in the world, which I agree, and then Kyle Trudeau being a massive dick to you, and it's never relevant.
I've never used those words.
Well, we know you don't use those words, Drew, but like,
call him an idiot one time because that would be controversial.
I think it's okay. I never mind. Let's just move on. Forget it. Whatever. I've said it before. I don't
know. Okay.
DJ, who would you ask? Who do you have to ask permission? Who's the boss of the?
I'm not asking permission from nobody, dude. I ask permission for
Dylan's too much of
anybody to do anything.
To attack, anyways. He's not.
Yeah, first of all, I'm not going to attack off the front. Second of all, if I do, I'm not asking somebody if I can do it.
That's right, because you're just waiting to just be like, "Hey guys, I'll help you pull. Let's go. We can all work together."
Yeah,
we can catch them.
I love Tyler's Dylan voice. That is good. Dylan's now do your Sagan voice.
No, you got to tune in to something like Patreon.
I've been trying to get
Instagram
you to
live stream for that.
Voice. Tyler's Sagan voice is so good.
Who are your predictions? All right, so what are your predictions for Unbound for the women's and the men's this year?
I'm going to go with an American winner for the women's. Paige Onweller.
Really? Give us some deets. Right?
Well, I don't know. The deets are that she was third last year. I don't know. The deets are that she was third last year, and I think she's totally capable of winning. And she strong
has
AF.
Been there. Yeah, wow. She has been there this so far, doing some. I mean, it's some prep.
It's a race that suits her. So, yeah. For the men's. I don't know. Chase the Aero Dork probably.
Early breakaway sticks.
Early break sticks all the way to the end.
Quinn inspired me.
Dude, the early break doesn't It doesn't work often, but when it does, it will be epic.
Chase, if you win now that I've said this, you have to tattoo
I'll give you my other disc wheel.
No. I don't want that. You have to, okay, when you get your Unbound tattoo, which you have to get, you also have to tattoo my name under it. You have to say Dylan predicted this.
What is this, single speed worlds? You have to get an Unbound tattoo if you win? All right, where can I see a start list for this thing?
Why do you need a start list? We know who's showing up.
It's gravel. It's just everybody who posts on Instagram about how they're doing Unbound.
No, all right. Oh,
just go to Strava and search Unbound block, and that'll give you the start list.
Day 75 of on my Unbound block.
I like how Unbound block has like basically become a meme at this point.
Dude, and like the amount of pre-Unbound YouTube videos that are already on YouTube is insane. There's like 20 pre-Unbound.
They're not gonna come on after Unbound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mine is.
My prediction is
Thank you, Chase, for pulling us back.
Oh, yeah.
Sophia for the women.
Boring.
Vanilla.
I know.
Vanilla.
Oh, okay. We want some. Okay, Drew, you get to go for the women. Oh, wait. Actually, no. The woman who won Gravel Locos, and she also won the Tracker 360. That's my prediction. She's on the Pass Normal team.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking of, too.
Good old Pass Normal.
And then, my men's prediction is Simon, however you say it. Yep.
They're friends.
Steven.
Yeah. After his bad luck at his first American trip.
Yeah. No, that was pretty bad luck. I'm not going to lie. That probably sucked for him. All right. Fair. Drew, you got something?
What's the tutor guy's name? I'm going to say tutor guy.
That's also Simon.
Simon?
The tutor guy was impressive at Sea Otter. I think
that's true. He was impressive at Sea Otter.
If he rides a little smarter. I think he came here thinking, I'm a big world tour rider. I'm going to rip these guys' legs off. And then it wasn't as easy as he thought it would be. And so I think now that hopefully he got a little piece of humble pie, and hopefully that helps him to do better here.
I think that happens to a lot of world tour riders that come over here and think that gravel is going to be easy.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about whatchamacallit, Gravel Locos that happened this last weekend.
Has Matt Beers? Matt Beers has never won Unbound, has he?
No.
I think he'd be a good pick too. Actually, I think I would go him over Tudor because Tudor's never done it before. So I think Tudor's going to make some big mistakes because this is a race where experience, I think, makes a big difference. So I'm going to say Matt Beers.
Do you guys know if they'll have the new Crux here?
Whoa.
I'm not sure. I didn't know there was a new Crux.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
Never mind.
Are you going to tell us about it, Chase?
Yeah, what's the deeds?
I don't know. I just had a phone call with someone and they're like, yeah, new Crux is coming out.
All right. Well, you're not a Specialized rider. You can spill the beans, right?
That's about all I know. Probably has clearance for 50 millimeter tires.
I was about to say the problem with the Crux is the clearance. Does that does the Diverge with that little rear suspension thing, does it have better tire clearance than the Crux?
Yeah, it does.
So is that why most of those Specialized guys ride that bike at this race?
They don't though. They ride the Crux.
I mean, last year I think Ian Boswell ran the suspension one.
Yeah, Ian Boswell was the only one. You know why Ian Boswell ran it? Is because Specialized had a testing day, where they tested that bike versus the Crux, and they found that the Diverge was faster than the Crux, probably because it's got suspension.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And being that everybody's a massive weight weenie, none of the Specialized riders took that advice, and they all rode the Crux instead. Even
Sophia, I thought she rode the Diverge.
Not sure, I don't know, but like Matt Beers was on the Crux. Lance was on the Crux.
Yeah. Okay.
I just don't understand why, out of all companies, like Specialized hasn't come out with Aero gravel bike yet. Like they are the Aero is everything company.
Yeah.
The
point I was making was if the Diverge has better tire clearance, that would probably be the better bike.
Yeah. Any bike with better tire clearance is a better bike for Unbound.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you did the thing again where you said what I said.
Tyler.
And I'll say whatever you guys said times 2. I haven't been paying attention.
No. Who's your picks for the race?
That's what I said. Whatever you guys picked, whichever one is right. Whichever one is more right.
Who did you say for the men?
I don't know. I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, not you.
Wait, no one said Keegan.
Yeah, I don't think Keegan's going to win.
That's been a
Do you think? Did you guys see he did a altitude camp
in Silver City?
Yeah.
Do you think Unbound, or you think altitude camp, is it hot in Silver City?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, that's the best of both worlds. Hot and altitude. Whew.
Really hard to recover from. That's great. Perfect.
Yeah, he was already overtrained before he did that. So now he's just going to be double overtrained.
Dude, he'll be fine. But he's not going to win. Aerodork's going to win. You heard it here first.
Bike? No.
Dude, I agree. I'm going with the early break, sticking it, and then Drew tries to stab his teammate in the back by outsprinting him.
No, Drew is like,
on.
Drew's not even going to make the early break. He's going to be like too far back, not knowing what's going on.
Dylan.
Look at that idiot up there.
And then Chase is going to win the race, and Drew's going to be like, "Oh man, I should have gone with you. I'm such an idiot." And I'll be like, "Yeah, you are." Yeah,
I was already telling Chase, I'm just so nervous about positioning that if I am at the front, that's going to be the time that we have to attack, because that might be the only time I make it to the front.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, guys, good luck. Look forward to watching your Instagram stories and reading your 5-paragraph essay about how it was so hard. And
we have all kinds of good content ready to be released every day this week.
Perfect.
We may not be known for our watts, but we'll be known for good content.
I'm known for my low watts.
Yeah, true.
All right. Well, let's wrap it there.
Sick.
See you next week.
Thanks for letting me join.
See you, Chase.